I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the regular meeting of the Leonard Village Council. Today is July 9th, 2018. I ask that you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a brief invocation. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you guide the decisions of this council and that they may be in the best interest of this community. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Okay. We have a roll call for attendance of the council, please.
President McDonald?
Here.
Mrs. Sophie?
Here.
Mr. Amarante?
Here.
Mr. Hoffman? Mr. Kennedy?
Here.
Mr. Hoffman is excused. And note for the record that Clerk Cindy Groskopf and Treasurer Judy Burst are present. Council received the minutes for the last regular meeting held on June 11th. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? If not, a motion to approve them would be ordered. The council first.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
What's your question?
Well, it isn't a question, it's a statement that I made last meeting. It's not correct. It said I made mention of the master plan was adopted in 1991, which allowed for commercial growth. Actually, I said in a roundabout way, it did not allow for commercial growth.
Okay, we'll make that adjustment. Does your motion still stand for the minutes as amended?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor of the motion to approve the minutes as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay. Council has before it the agenda for this evening. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? If not, a motion to approve them will be in order.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll support.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the agenda as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay, the treasurer's report. Council received the report in their packet. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? If not, motion to approve the report and receive and file it will be in order.
I make a motion we approve the treasurer's report and receive and file.
I'll support.
Is there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mrs. Sophie?
Yes.
Mr. Amarante?
Yes.
Motion carried. Okay, the next item on the agenda are accounts payable. Council has before it the bills for the month of June. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? Judy? If not, a motion to pay the bills in the amounts indicated would be in order.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the bills, pay the bills as presented with $23,132.37 out of general, $2,224.07 for the major, $89.10 in the local, and nothing for parks and recreation.
I'll second that.
Very good. Are there any questions on the accounts payable? Hearing none, we have a roll call, please, for approval of the payment of the bills.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Amarante?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Sophie?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Okay, this part of the meeting is an opportunity for public comment. We ask that you comments be brief and to the point. If you're here about an item that's under new business or unfinished business, you will have a chance to speak to that at that time. Would anybody care to make a comment? Mr. Molina?
Number one, in the alley between Division Street and Elmwood is overgrown. It looks terrible. And if you come out of the alley to make a turn, you have to go almost all the way up. I seen a couple people almost get hit because people flying around that corner down by the alley there, and people trying to come out of the alley almost got hit. I think those bushes by Mrs. Frost have to be trimmed back quite a bit. And, you know, I know everybody's saying, oh my God, she's going to raise heck. Okay, so she raises heck, but if someone gets hurt there, who's going to pay it? So that's number one. Number two, is there any way that this council, on a monthly basis, could put $100 away somewhere in a different coffer? And, you know, in 12 months, you'd have $1,200. In 2 years, you'd have 24. Maybe we could fix some sidewalks. The sidewalks are atrocious. I don't know if you've been down in front of my house, but there's one hump there that's really big, and a lady coming down there the other day on a walker couldn't hardly manipulate that. So I think something has to be done down there.
Yeah, the problem with sidewalks anymore is the cost is so expensive that $2,000 doesn't even, it barely get you 100 feet of sidewalk.
Well, if you got 100 feet a year, it would be something.
You and I might not live to see it then.
That's true.
No, we have talked about it using block grant funds, but we can't use them for repairs. We can only use them for new. So that's why it's so difficult to set aside that much money. Like $8,000 or $9,000 is what we're talking about. But your point is taken.
The point is, if you did so much, $1,200 a year, you could get some of the sidewalks, the worst ones done.
But you can't do it like that,
Why can't you?
because the budget is set at the beginning of the year, and you just plop them out there for the year. You can't put a monthly amount set
Well, next year's coming up.
Well, we do have a sidewalk category, and we fund it every year for repairs and things like that, because we can't put together $8,000 or $9,000 that it would take to do a section of sidewalk, a significant section.
But
your point is taken. I've talked with Don about the bad spots, and we have loose plans to try and do something with it.
And the third thing is,
Oh, you're limited to 2, sorry.
in front of my house, Donnie did come there today and put some seed and straw down and level it off a bit, because that was really bad. Those guys that took that out should have.
Well, the understanding was that that was not part of the Elmwood Street project. You requested that that be removed, and that's all they were bound to do. When we talked about having them come back and reseed it and refurbish it, they wanted a lot of money, and it just made more sense for Don to do it rather than pay them to come back to do it. So there's a couple more spots that have to be
The
touched.
reason that I wanted it out was it was all growth, okay? And the water would just flow down. In this fall, I will be putting another sidewalk in there, which I guess I got the okay to do.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Rathburn? Oh, wait a minute, I think Mr. Bivens had his hand up.
I got mailed this letter stating that I have a structure on my property that I needed required, I guess, a permit for. I was on the understanding that a movable structure like has been put in the village elsewhere, there was no permits given, so if I am in the wrong, please correct me, but I think that's a correct statement.
I think the letter is correct. You need to provide the village with information on the structure, and then the village will make a determination on whether or not a permit is needed.
So this requires me 14 days to get in contact with the village, so that's what I'm doing here today.
Now, you'll need to come up and get an application and fill it out and turn it in.
Well, my question to you then is that the people that have the removable carports also do that process.
Probably. There are also zoning questions, placement questions that have to be addressed for all of those as well.
Probably they did or they did.
I tell you what, you stop into the village and you can look at the building records and determine it, but I'm not gonna do it right now, so.
Well, no, that's why I'm asking the question, that's why I'm here, I'm addressing the letter.
Okay,
You know,
fill out an application, we'll turn it in, because you've built a structure on your property without a permit, and if it doesn't require a permit, you will be told that.
okay.
Can it be any more simple?
Well, when you say it that way, no. But you know what you were saying.
Well, that's, I repeated myself, and I apologize for those that got it the first time, sorry.
All right, and then I have another question. I forgot what I was going to say now, I'm sorry. It has to do with the complaint that the state of Michigan came out to our place, and it was a non-conforming complaint with our chickens, which they told us that, what was it, how did they word it?
He said it was an unfounded complaint, it's well maintained, and there is no odor.
So I would like just to make comment that this is the third bout that we've done to prove with the state of Michigan that we are doing what they tell us we can do and we're doing it properly. So,
What is that exactly? Are you referring to the garage or the storage?
no,
Or what?
it was a separate comment about the chickens that our neighbor, or I'm assuming it's our neighbor, complained with the state of Michigan, and it was a unfounded complaint. So,
Well, we found no record of any, we requested from the Attorney General of Michigan a freedom of information, findings to that effect, and there are no written findings to that effect. So we've turned it over to the village attorney, and he's looking into it on behalf of the village.
And you realize that if it's unfounded,
Listen,
that the village pays for that?
this time is set aside for you to talk to us, not for a back and forth. So if you have more comments, please feel free, but then we'll move on.
Hey, Steve, you can pull the building permit off the village website.
It's
oh, I know I had another comment to make. Over the holiday, I'm trying to get my basement repaired. They called the village to ask them about a building permit or a permit to repair the basement, and no one ever got back with them.
Did we get a message?
They called me as soon as they left the message. I came up here,
When did they call?
you guys were closed for the whole week.
No, we were open Tuesday and Thursday. We were not closed.
I took a picture of the sign that says you were closed, and you weren't open.
Are you talking about Christmas or last week?
No, not last week, the holiday prior to the 4th, which would be Memorial. They said they have not had a return phone call. It's been a month.
I don't recall that.
Well, that's not good news, so we will look into it and verify.
Well, they need to call back because I don't have a
Have they filled out a permit? Have they made a request? I mean, what are
Well,
they?
that's what they left the message for, no one's returned the phone call. I'm paying a company to do it, right? They do the legwork, they call the village to get the permit or see if there's a permit required, and no one's returned the phone call.
I have not gotten any messages that I have not returned calls. And if it's been a month, have them call back. I would think they'd call
Well,
back.
I would assume that they said they left a message, and I would assume that you would have returned the phone call.
If we had gotten a message, the phone call would have been returned. So, one side or the other, I can't explain. Okay, Mr. Rassberg, were you done, Mr. Bivens?
Yes.
Mrs. Bivens? If not, Mr. Rassberg's got more to say.
Just a little. I found out that we, since 1975, we've been under the sanitary code of Oakland County, Article 3, and I found out recently that in November of 2016, they redid that. So we were under it from 75 to 2016. So I got a hold of it and I looked at it, and it kind of scares me because they're getting very tough on putting septics in. And I gave you some information there. Now, on this map, anything that's pink or yellow is not acceptable soil with a health department. Now let's get down to small lots. As you recall, I tore down a house on Basil Street a few years ago, and I called our local sanitarian, Mike Pizer, and I put it to him this way: Mike, I tore down a house, and now I have to put in a whole new septic field, which I knew I would have to do. If one of these houses on these small lots in Leonard burns down, will they be able to rebuild? And he said, no, not unless they have recently had some work done on their septic. They will not rebuild these buildings. That includes the commercial buildings. I think we should get serious about getting sewers in. Actually, sewers would probably be cheaper than an engineered field. I've looked up engineered fields for small lots, and they start at about $50,000. The amount that a person would have to pay in Leonard for a sewer, their part of the sewer is about $20,000, possibly up to $30,000 over a 20 to 40 year period, which averages out to about maybe $25-30 a month. I think it's time that we got serious about looking at this and seeing what we can accomplish. While there's grant money, there's 80%, 20% grant money. We pay the 20. Different agencies, federal government pay the 80. I mentioned that there's a piece of sand that's up for tax sale. It's not really going up for tax sale. He's on a payment plan, but that can be removed at any time. And then, I think the best thing to do would be negotiate a deal with him. Go down to get this thing rolling. Otherwise, we should take it down to Lakeville, let it go around the lake, and then go down to tap in south of 32 Mile Road. It's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen. If the factory, Cooper Standard, burned down, there's no way they're gonna stay in Leonard. We'll lose a major tax base. They will not stay because they will have to meet the new standards. And I put the standards in there that shows you that not one lot in this, in the pink area, the red area, the pink, red, and yellow, those are the areas that don't meet health department rules.
I think you're assuming an awful lot here, because you have my house listed there, and we have an engineered field.
Yeah, but did you put it in after 2016?
No, sir. But Oakland County did come and inspect.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The rules have changed in November of 2016.
Okay, thank you, Dave. We appreciate all of this information, and I'm sure we'll give it a good once-over. As I mentioned before, we've had discussions with the Department of Agriculture and the federal government and SEMCOG about getting some sewer system and assistance, and we're still in that process, but the wheels grind slow. There's no free money. We're trying to get enough money to do the sewer study, and we haven't found the right person to pick yet. So,
well,
it's not like we don't care, it's for practical purposes, it's gonna take, short of a disaster, it's gonna take septic system failures, and the health department saying that they're not gonna let them fix them before which has happened on Lakeville Lake, before anybody is going to take or worry. I don't think any resident here that doesn't need a septic system wants to see a $20,000 or $30,000 tap-in fee. In a community of 150 homes, it's a burden.
It is.
So
absolutely. But I thought I'd bring this up and show you what they say the soils are not good.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else have a comment? Mr. Hart, briefly?
Yeah, who's in charge of the weed control in downtown
You're looking at them.
How's it going for you?
How's it look?
Bad?
I figured if you were here, it had to be bad.
Well, I'm here to see you and something else too, but, well, it's been like that for a while. I always, even late going Oxford, you have to question the DDA, why they let it go like that, so just saw it sort of. Also, but any more, did you find anything more about NODA, why they're nitpicking with me and not providing me with the service that they should be?
I have had lengthy discussions with the managing director and the members of the board. And based on the fact, Mr. Hart, that we've provided, that NODA has provided over 90 rides to you so far this year, it's not like you're being denied service. You also have outstanding fees that needed to be paid.
It's $20 paid.
They are paid?
Yeah.
Well, then you should be able to get rides.
No, I'm not getting consistent, proper rides, okay?
Well,
A ride, hold
they
on.
may not meet your schedule, Mr. Hart. You asked me if I had done anything, and I'm telling you as courtesy that yes, I have had discussions. If you've paid the fine, the fare that was, you were behind in, then they would set you up on the same type of schedule that got you the previous 90 rides.
No, they wouldn't. The ride is like one way.
Well, arguing with me is going to
I'm
make...
not arguing with you, Mr. McDonald. Every time somebody says something, you don't have to put an argument on, okay? I'm telling you, share the fact that I'm counter your answer because they're weak, because I deal with people up here, and I told you when I was here before, we had a meeting on June 11th here, on June 5th, I called in to see if because I'm getting, it's like I'm losing the loving feeling. So darn bad that I'm looking into buying myself a van, and here's the guy that has business stuff. So folks, I'll be on the road because NODA will not provide me proper ride every week. I'm getting such BS lies all the time, it's a hassle. And so when I got a call, I called her on June 5th, and I repeat it again, called June 5th, talked to Vicki, said, well, this is Tuesday, can I go tomorrow to Lake Orange? Because like, where can I go? Man, how about Leonard, you know? Because the other one going to the YMCA, I'm a paraplegic, I'm diabetic, I need physical exercise. Swimming is a big key factor, and lifting some weights. They refuse to provide that to me twice a week in reservations. So when Miss Vicki said, no, we're full on Wednesday, full on Thursday, so what about Thursday? Where do you want to go? To the YMCA. Let me finish. Went to YMCA. Well, we don't know. I'll have to check. And I said, if you're full on Wednesday and Thursday, I know you're working on Friday, common sense deduction. She said, Mr. Hart, we have people calling here 30 days ahead. I'm like, I've been on this full benefit schedule for over a year now, but for Monday and Friday. So, nothing was said. I got a call June 14th, and the gal said, Mr. Hart, you pick up time tomorrow, which Friday. I said, I don't have a pickup time tomorrow. She said, you want to go? I said, I did not call you on June 5th, I want to go on June 15th. I wanted to go every Monday and Friday. But that's what they do. They constantly lie to me on a regular basis. So you people don't want to believe this, but I'm telling you, my age 69, they constantly lied to me. And this is an atrocious thing with that big said when people call 3 days ahead of time, I'm like, what am I doing? I could call in one day, and it's happened, and get taken to Ace Hardware. They stopped back by there and take me across the road to the workout center, which was closed. They were going to do that. I said no. Then they were going to stop by and take me to Meyer, because it's right there 24. But why in the world do they not want to come out here twice a week, Monday and Friday, pick me up, take me in there? Now, people have mentioned about they love to go to OPC, and it's out of the jurisdiction of Boring, Oxford, and Aspen Township. So is the Great Lakes Mall, and so is the workout center. So all these things they make up, they're farces. And at my age, it's just not right. There's no good reason why they shouldn't take me. And if they're shafting me, they're shafting other people. I firmly believe that right there, see? Because there's no good reason why they take them up there, mile and a half, row, pick me up. Like I repeat again, they pick up somebody here in town, goes to OCC, right down by YMCA. So you, as a councilman here from Leonard, and you probably last year you'd be doing more proactive in it, and it's the same story. So
Why don't you see if you can catch a ride the same time he goes to OCC, since it's a drop-off right close? Why don't you adjust your schedule so that maybe it would work better with notice?
what's his schedule?
I don't know.
I wouldn't mind the time. I have to go on Monday and Thursday. This guy may not go all the time. I don't see the guy, but I've been told to go OCC several times a week. It's not about me.
Okay. I think we understand that, Mr. Hart, and the best I can tell you at this point is I did look into it. If you're not satisfied with the service, you really need to approach the NODA board.
Who's the NODA board?
The same board you've been to before.
I went to one in Oxford, and NODA won't even take me to the other boards over there, and I've asked to go. And one time I went to one in Lakeville, and they closed, they canceled it before I got there, didn't tell nobody. Another one, I was gonna go to it, well, they changed the time.
My point is that if you give enough notice, you should be able to schedule a ride to the priority rides that they provide. And if you're not happy with the policy, the village council takes notice seriously. We've supported it and we participate with it. But we're not the only community and we're not running the service. The service is run by the board.
Do the board members know to get paid every month?
No.
You do it for free?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was there, like, they don't want to get broke, but can anybody say, comments that way, why would they piecemeal me right up there, and then someone say, well, people call in a month ahead of time. I've been on the thing for supposed to be for twice a week.
Well,
They bump me.
As part of my process in investigating your complaints, on behalf of the council and on behalf of my position on the NODA board, we went over the rules and regulations, and they're fairly clear. And there are priorities that if somebody has a doctor's appointment, that takes priority over a trip to the gym. You don't have a medical necessity like at the gym compared to someone that has a higher priority.
I'm a paraplegic and diabetic.
I understand that. I know you feel like
you're entitled. Well, this is what you guys do, is
you're not entitled to
it.
it. You have to cooperate and work within the system.
I went into the system is out of bounds.
You can't have it all your way.
I'm not on my way. I paid fair.
Mister, you're not listening.
Yes, I am. Don't tell me that. I am listening.
You're hearing, but you're not actually
I'm listening, Mr. McDonald. I've been at this a long time. You don't write it.
If you keep choosing busy days when there's high traffic volume.
Mike McDonald, I choose to go Monday and Friday. There is no holiday or busy days.
Well, how is it that you got 90 rides previously and now you can't get
90 rides, it's one over a year. Okay?
Over the last 6
6
months?
No.
I checked the records, Mr.
Excuse me. Listen, I didn't go in April, Mr. McDonald.
Okay.
I went once in, no, don't shoot me. I went once in April.
I'm afraid we've heard a lot of this already.
But you're
Mr.
saying
Hart.
the wrong thing. You're saying.
I'm saying what you don't want to hear, and I apologize for that, but this council can't help you, okay? The NODA
You guys are
board.
caught. I didn't go in April, I went once in May, didn't go in June,
Okay.
and this is July.
You've used
I
up
didn't
all
go
your,
60.
make a final point, Mr. Hart, please, before I.
Well, you're not telling the people, you're not telling me right, and you're covered up, and I believe, and I don't have a problem saying that to you or anybody else that are on board there, because there's no good reason. They're shafting me, and I'm sure they'd be shafting other people. I'm a paraplegic.
Right
I can't
now,
walk.
we have-
I need exercise in a swimming pool. So you can't just say, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to the YMCA. You know what? The OPC doesn't have an ADA pool that get a person like me in and out of. Okay, they have a pool, they have weights there, but they don't have a pool lift. You follow me?
You made that point at our last meeting.
No, I didn't, because I didn't know much about it. I didn't know until just recently I called there because I was exploring it. And I thought, well, I'll just go there because they go there all the time. But it also went against the grain when you said, well, because the YMCA was out of their territory. I said the Great Lakes Mall is out of their territory, OPC is out of their territory. They love to go there. Well, so I said, why don't they want to just take me there twice a week on a regular basis and admit that I'm a paraplegic with a health problem. I'm a special needs person.
This is the village of Leonard, and we are discussing issues relating to the village of Leonard. He is on that board, but this is not the NODA board meeting.
No, but it's here at the council meeting, okay?
You're not even a village resident, sir. You're a township resident.
Yes. So I'm just addressing Mike. Well, I'm getting these.
The point is, Mr. Hart, is that we have other business to conduct. And in the public comment section, we ask that you be brief and to the point, and I think we've all gotten your point, such as it is. And if you don't like the response, and I did look into it, if If you don't like what you're hearing, I really strongly suggest that you go to the NODA board and tell them what you think.
Sometimes I talk to Doug and I talk to, but they don't tell the truth. And when you tell me these things to people over here, I can't just let you tell them stuff that's not true.
Well,
And say I've gone 60 times.
I can tell you by and large that NODA performs the services very well that it proposes to the public. You apparently are, for some reason, an exception, or you feel you're an exception to that rule. And what I saw in the records did not reflect that the problem was on NODA's end, because once you stopped paying wait, just let me finish, an accrued $22 in arrears or whatever the policy is, which I think is what it is, at that point, they would not give you a ride. And you were made aware of the fact that you needed to pay that off before you could start riding again.
You're using that right there as a scheme for the whole.
No, it's not a scheme.
That's what you're using. That's what these people are saying.
Mr. Hart, there are rules and regulations for you as well as for NODA, okay? And if you had paid the money and you would not have missed all those rides that you felt you were entitled to.
That's not true. That's a total lie.
Well, I don't know that that's a lie.
It's a lie. It is a lie.
How can you ride if you're...
It's a lie. I paid up, people kept paid up, and it's last time they were coming to get me.
You know what, you and I aren't going to settle this
Well, you
tonight.
can't lie about
We
these things.
appreciate, I'm not lying, but we appreciate...
You're telling me
we
lies, and I'm
appreciate your
telling you I
thoughts.
did not ride there.
I'm telling you
60
what I
times.
learned.
I'll tell you and you and you, I did not ride there 60 times in the last 4 months. I didn't go in April, I went once in May, didn't go in June, that I recall, and this is July. So I know what, and I've been complaining about this raising issue for over a year. It's been inconsistent with me just getting a ride. This isn't something over 2 months, 3 months. This is over 18 months.
He's out of order. I think we need to move on.
Thank you, Mr. Hart.
I appreciate it.
That's all it comes.
I know you want me to shut up, but it's just the truth is the truth, okay?
Okay.
That's what I keep saying.
Does anybody else have any comments? Okay, we'll move on then to new business. Council should have found a master plan folder in front of you from the Planning Commission. This is their proposed plan for our review. We need to receive it, acknowledge receipt of it, and then schedule at our next meeting, hopefully, that we will make a decision on. We have basically 3 choices: to accept it as is, to accept it or recommend modifications, or to deny it and say that it's not adequate to our needs, which, having been part of the process, I don't think you can actually justify that type of opinion, but to each his own. So that said, I'd like to get a motion tonight acknowledging receipt from the Planning Commission so that we can move this to the next step, which includes a public hearing and issuance of the plan to other agencies, for their review.
I'd like to make a motion acknowledging receipt, but I'd also like to say it's probably one of the nicest master plans I've seen for this community.
A
Beautiful.
lot of work, and it's
A
taken
lot of
a
work,
few years.
beautiful work, yeah.
I'll second the motion.
The motion is to acknowledge receipt of the master plan from the Planning Commission, and after which time we will set it for review in August at our next meeting. Is there any questions on the motion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no.
Mike, when does the public get to look at this master plan?
Once the council's had a chance to look at it, then if they approve of what they see, then it goes into the public hearing portion of the process. We'll be sending it to the utilities, to the Township Planning Commission, the Oakland County Planning Commission, and a copy will be available in the office for public review.
They won't go back to
Probably after next meeting. After next meeting. Okay. Any other questions? If not, we'll move on to number 2. Council We have some dead trees on Division and Elmwood Street. The division north of Elmwood that some need trimming and we need a couple removed. They are on the village right of way, and depending on the price, we'd like to get as much done as we can. Currently, we have $1,000 in tree removal in the general fund. So I don't have any bids yet, but I'd like authorization to at least, if the expenditure can be done within the budget, that we'd be allowed to proceed with that. And we'll get 3 bids from local tree people.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. You can go ahead and get some quotes from the tree people.
I'll second.
Now, so we'll get the quotes and bring them back at the next meeting then for approval?
Yeah.
Sounds good. You support that?
Yes. Would it be possible to get scope of work from them as well, just so we can kind of detail out what they can do?
Okay. Great. All in favor of the motion to authorize 3 bids for the tree trimming and removal needed on Division and Elmwood Street, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Okay, unfinished business is Elmwood Street. Obviously, it's still incomplete. There's some pavement repairs that have to be done at the intersection of Forest and Elmwood, and some more remediation, but it's almost done. It's a little further than it was a month ago. They've still got to modify the one catch basin to allow water to drain.
What's that?
They're going to modify that catch basin to get the water to drain down there. But it's kind of crude, but that's what they're going to do. Okay, moving on. There is no old business. DPW. Just wanted to let the council and the public know that Don Irwin, our DPW manager, is taking full-time employment. So he's going to be available on a limited basis for the foreseeable future. That said, Don would like to keep working as much as possible. So I wanted you to be aware of that. Also, we did get the new lawnmower back, and it seems to be living up to its advertisements and being a good piece of equipment. So. All right, President's report. We had no Freedom of Information Act requests this past month. We have had no applications for block grant assistance either. On ordinance enforcement, you've heard that they're still in process with 4380 Basin Street. We'll just see where that shakes out once the Department of Agriculture weighs in on it. Village elections, we've got upcoming elections in November. So we'll have 2 trustee positions open. There's a no-has for Addison Township on July 28th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the North Sashabaw Elementary School. And that's at 5290 Maybe Road. And it's $10 to take whatever you want to dispose of there of hazardous household waste. You've already heard about the notary response, basically. And then, kind of on a really nice note, it doesn't really affect the village directly, but the ISO insurance facility, which rates fire protection, just announced that all of Addison Township, with the exception of a very small area on the western side, has received a 3 rating which means it's got very, very good fire protection. Leonard was, the village was the only entity that had it that good in the immediate area. So our fire department deserves a lot of credit for making that happen. It'll reflect more on the homes that weren't a 3 in the past than it will affect people now currently, but it's a good thing.
Doesn't it have to do with how far they have to go?
Yeah, usually one of the primary considerations is the distance from a fire department, and the west side of the township is slightly more than 4 miles, and that's why they don't get that good rate, that excellent rating of 3. Okay, moving on, Summer Festival Committee.
Yes, would, being as Donnie's not working a lot, are we gonna be able to get the trimming done?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because across the street where I was talking to you the other day, like between the sidewalk and the road,
yeah.
all that trimming needs to be done there. Also, what happened with the DIA on the road there? Are we going to trim those trees
Yes,
before next?
Don's comfortable, and the property owners or adjacent property owners are fine with it.
Oh, okay, so that's not included in this bid?
No.
Okay.
No, we're going to get it done before the festival.
Okay, and I sent an email I talked to Mary over at Cooper, and I told her what I told the gentleman from the DIA.
Okay.
Other than that, everything's going good.
Okay. Very good. I'm almost afraid to ask about the Cable Commission because there's a lot going on. But anything, highlights we need to know about?
As I brought back to you, in case you don't know it, when you use the cable station, when you watch it, if you order anything, whatever you do, a small portion of everything that you use from the cable comes back to the local municipality. That can be used by the municipality, can be used for the cable station. But there's also something called PEG fees, and I forget what that's an acronym for. And that money has to come to the community. Unbeknownst to us, for 10 years, I believe it was, they haven't been paying the PEG fees to Oxford, Addison, or Leonard. It amounts to something like $1.5 million that we cannot get back. So we've hired an attorney who is a specialist in cable litigation, and they are going to go after Charter so that from now on, we will all the entities involved will get their PEG fees. And those PEG fees, again, go for the support of the cable station, can be used for building a new building, which is something that they're looking at doing. It doesn't affect any of us here, but it's unfortunate that all that money was not paid out like it should have been. And that's something Charter did. And we had a special meeting to address that.
Okay, thank you. Decorating Committee. Larry's not here, but I did speak with him, and I see that the meeting's been canceled for July at this point.
Kay had some medical things going on.
So, just for the record, the Decorating Committee generally meets the second Tuesday of every month. And there are some residents and members that haven't gotten that word, I guess. So if you pass it on, and I'll try and make sure that we reinforce it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you wouldn't mind telling Michelle, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, okay.
And I'll send her an email as well. But
Oh, okay.
hopefully we'll close that gap, that communication. So, okay, Planning Commission. Because there's really nothing for them to do this month until we've reviewed the master plan, it's been suggested that we cancel the meeting for July. So is there a motion to do so?
I make a motion that we cancel Planning Commission for the month of July.
Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to cancel the Planning Commission meeting for July and have Judy notify the members? please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. We didn't say no, Judy. Never mind.
She's sleeping.
Okay. Highland Trail Management Council, meeting next week. The Wood Trail road failure and consequent closing of the trail in that area continues. The work was supposed to be done by the end of June, and the road commission is still working on it. So they're hoping for the end of July now to have that repaired. But that's probably the biggest thing that's going on. Other than SEMCOG sent a special vehicle out, a three-wheeled bicycle with like a Google setup on it for mapping, and they rode the trail today from start to finish and visually mapped it. So there will be a link eventually on the web page and the Facebook page so that people can actually go on the trail and go down it virtually, so to speak. Don't get much exercise that way, but I guess that's what they want to do. Okay, Main Street. I don't think we've had any activity, anything going on at this point. Village Parks. Mike, do we have a work day this June 30th? We had a work day, and then
We already had a work day for July.
okay. So we have nothing. We don't have a meeting this month.
I don't think we have another one.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Okay.
You got the observation platform all staying.
Yeah.
There's plenty of help. We didn't have a whole lot of work to do.
Yeah. Got a lot done though. It looks good. Okay, North Oakland Transportation Authority. They're gearing up once again for the August election on the millage, along with the townships of Lorien and Oxford. There is a citizen support group that's getting signs out urging people to support NOTA. Community Development Block Grant, everybody should have received a summary on block grant. Our current balance, most of which is dedicated to the minor home repair. I guess all of it is actually current, all but $3,000 is $11,947.33. Okay, Historical Study Committee. We haven't done anything formally, although we've been working with the county trying to get a survey together, and we talked about it. You authorized it, the council authorized it last month. I'm still working with the Economic Planning Division to get that survey refined and sent out. So that should happen hopefully this month. I have no further correspondence. Is there anything else the council wants to bring before the council? If not, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
I so move.
I'll second.
All in favor of the motion to adjourn, please say aye.
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 Opposed, please say no. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming.